again, YouTubers. So this is a review on the Revlon Age Defying with DNA Advantage Concealer. I have this in the color 02, which says it is medium. This is what the packaging looks like. You can purchase this. Oops, sorry, still working on the focusing. You can purchase this at all of your local drugstores. You can purchase this at most drugstores. It's usually around the $5 to $6 range. I picked mine up at Ulta and my receipt says $5.49. So keep in mind with drugstores, sometimes the prices vary on those as well. So it can be a little different. So just be aware of that. But the Revlon Age Defying Concealer in 02, which is called medium, seems to be, for me, a very light color. So the color itself right there is a fairly light color to be called medium, in my opinion. To me, medium usually is a much deeper tone. I would call this to be light. I think there's fair, which is really light, then light, and then medium, and so on. And I feel like medium is kind of misinforming us with this name of the color on this. Now the concealer itself, I do have on under my eyes. I think that it does a very nice job. I'll add a little bit under here. It does have good coverage. It doesn't seem to crease, and it has like that slight tacky base to it that you kind of need when you're doing under eyes. You want something that's gonna like stick and stay, not move around. If something is too, for me at least, if something is too smooth, it kind of doesn't stay under my eyes. It kind of ends up moving out into my fine lines and my crow's feet and stuff like that. And I don't want that to happen. So with a concealer, I want something that's going to be put under my eyes and it's going to stay there. And this seems to be doing that very well for me, and I'm quite impressed with it, honestly. The thing that it reminds me the most about is the NARS Creamy Concealer. And I will, now that I took that swatch off my hand, just to give you an idea, I have the NARS Creamy Concealer in the color, I think it's Honey. Yep. Now Honey, you'll be interested, is considered, color on the top is considered medium, and the color on the bottom is considered light. I don't know. You tell me. I definitely don't think that that's true. The packages themselves are very similar in size. Not exactly sure on the exact ounces, but very similar for quite a difference in price. They are very similar as far as consistency, the way they apply. They both have the doe foot applicator. Right there. And it just gives a really, really nice under eye brightness to it and a lift to it. There is a good amount of color selection with Revlon as well, which is really important. And I just think that they are a nice concealer that just sets up well under the eyes without settling into those fine lines. So that being said, the pigmentation on this is amazing. I think it's got great pigmentation, it covers well, and it just gives you a nice look, and it just has great staying power. So the pigmentation is definitely a good 4.5 out of 5. Texture, it's super smooth, easy to work with, doesn't dry too quickly, has a little bit of that tackiness to it, so if you don't like that, I wouldn't try this, but has that little bit of a tackiness that just helps it stay where it needs to be. So the texture for me is a good 4 out of 5. Longevity, it stays on me all day. I've not had any issues with it settling into fine lines or creases, and it seems to really stay where I put it, which is really nice. Now I do set it with a powder too. Keep in mind, I always set my concealers with a powder. But longevity, it stays all day, so it's a good 4.5 out of 5. Application, very easy to apply. Typically what you just saw me do was take it off my fingers, but I typically just dot it on the areas I want, then take a fingertip or a brush and blend it in. Very, very easy to apply, easy to get out of the package too. So good 4.5 out of 5. Packaging, I think their packaging is very similar to others, just the whole concept of the packaging with the doe foot applicator. I think it works out well, and I think the packaging's nice. I think it's a good 4 out of 5. price, you can't beat it. It's only $5, $6, and there's always some sort of deal going on at drugstores and Ulta and Target. So that's a 5 out of 5. Product overall on this, I think this is one for you guys to try. I definitely think it's a great drugstore concealer that's giving some of the top end ones, high end ones, a run for their money. And I definitely think if you're looking for a good, I've used it for under eye. I don't tend to use concealers like this on my face. I use a thicker concealer on my face for spots, but I definitely think that this one is a great under eye concealer in my book. So if you're looking for something like that, this is definitely one to try. So if you have any other questions, please post them below. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.